If you had to say what your style says about you, what would you say?
You know, I can wear something expensive and something cheap and something that I found on the street. When I was younger, I didn't know what I was really subverting. And as I grew up, I really felt like, you know, some high priestess of disenfranchised youth, you know? There's something repugnant about buying jeans for like hundreds of dollars that have holes in them. The conformity, you know?
So you take off your hat.
Did you see my hot flash? Being in the 40s, I feel like this is me. And God, I was so insecure about certain things. Now I'm more unapologetic in the sense of going after what I want, asking for what I want.
How do you express yourself and your passions in your life other than through your style?
Through my work as an actor or as a singer. I mean, I'm really very well known for having been in Rent. And that was the first one. It was sort of like, you know, losing my virginity to a show that was part of a zeitgeist. That was a huge privilege, and that really like locked in this feeling of having a mission when I work. You know, those clothes came out of my closet, so I was expressing myself politically. Now, you know, I'm doing this show, Empanada Loca. It's about a woman who lives underground, underneath this tunnels of the city, who never sees the light of day anymore. I mean, like, I've dealt with so many issues with my body, with substances. I kicked heroin before, you know, I was really in my 20s. When I kicked the heroin, I gained weight. And it was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I'm another person. So I went to ice cream and I went to bulimia. I didn't even know what I was doing. Not being able to keep food down because I had to throw it up because I couldn't stop a cycle. It was like, well, you know, with drugs, you can actually put them away and never open that door again. Day at a time, whatever. But food, you have to eat the fucking food. So how do you do that? I had to draw a line and say, no matter what, I'm not gonna continue this behavior again. Then I started singing. I got into a girl group, like immediately. It was almost like the universe really responded to me taking my attention away. And it really gave me something to like really love and focus my work on. People would say, you don't look like an actor. You're never gonna act. I mean, you know, look at you. Because actors didn't look like me.
In what way?
No, literally Latina actors. I shot a film called Wild Things, and the woman was like, so you worked on the film, huh? Because I had like the whole itinerary. She's like, so what did you do on it? I was like, oh, I played the cops. Like, you don't look like an actor. It's like you're not the first, like, what the fuck does that mean?
What do you think has been your biggest struggle?
Being nice to myself, not being brutal, not shooting all over myself because I have expectations that I should have met something. My first experience of like, you know, notoriety and like making money performing was being in a girl group called Pajama Party. And then Rent happened, you know, and that was like a vortex where I felt like I was in the middle of like, you know, the circling tornado. But I felt safe in that. You know, I felt like I was with my peeps. I fought so hard to like, you know, go against that role that I almost, to a fault, went the other way. Just because I wanted to prove that I was versatile. If I try to get outside of like a racial, like, you know, wanting the Latina, the mother of the criminal, or, you know, the junkie hooker. My stepfather is a Jewish American man, may he rest in peace. Love him to death, intellectual. But he'd say, you know, you have to be smarter because people are gonna think you're stupid just by the way you look. It's not an even playing field. And because of your race, you know, and because of your, you know, your class, people are gonna judge you. So you have to be smarter than other people. And I just always fucking remember that. He was trying to protect me, but I think that there's just no way you can tell a teenage girl that without trying to like light a fire on her ass, you know? And so I took that and I rode with it. Or I'm in a Labyrinth theater company. We started that company because like people like us weren't doing Chekhov or Shakespeare or Tennessee Williams or American classics or any kind of classics because of the color of our skin and the way we spoke. Because that's not how, we don't do shit like that. We play the other people. It's still a struggle, but at least I can say that I helped make it happen. That's the gift that you get from like just the desperation of being ignored. It pisses you off enough to make a change, you know, and say, I have nothing to lose if I do this.
Me too. How did this affect how you feel about yourself physically?
Well, I have this story that, like, you know, I used getting a role in a film that I had like a nude scene with a big actor as my excuse for getting a tit job. I was upgrading myself, you know, a nose job upgrade. So physically altering myself to conform more.
So what you thought they wanted?
Yes.
Did it work?
No, there's still a part of me that still thinks like, if I went like this, or, you know, like, I still do that.
Has it also like been difficult with aging? Like,
If you're not fuckable looking, that's, you know, then you're either the gnome under the bridge or somebody's grandmother or a bad guy or an extra. The better jobs on television for somebody that looks like me is to, you know, Devious Maids. My girlfriends are on Devious Maids. Boy, it's a lot of fun. You're a maid. People like me are supposed to, you know, clean toilets and shit.
Right.
Take care of your kids. And that's what we do, you know? Like, it's funny, my kid goes to a private school. Now it's like I hang out with like some of them, you know, the Tribeca Mafia as they're called and stuff. There's the nannies that like, I totally feel
You feel them.
Yeah, you're the one with the real job because you're taking care of the most precious thing in my life, you know? I think nannies are the shit, man.
What was your mother like? For some reason I wanted to ask that question.
She was the youngest of, I think, 7 kids. She was the one who didn't conform, who left her husband, you know, married Catholic, and came to this country to pursue a life. She died when I was young. I idolized her, and I think that I just like sucked her up, you know? I'm possessed by my mom. It's like every day I wear something of hers. The balls like that I have like to get in front of people and do the things that I do without getting terribly self-conscious is because of her.
when do you feel the most vulnerable?
Talking about feeling vulnerable, I'm gonna cry, is being older than my mother ever was. That just breaks my heart open, you know. I mean, I'm grateful. It's not like she's been gone most of my life, but I think I was terrified, just like approaching that age and being like, I can't die, I can't afford to die. I have things I need to do and it's not okay, you know.
What age was that?
She was 42. You know, because when I was little, it was like, okay, I know that she's young because they say so, but she's like, you know, 42 is like a lifetime away, you know, and now it's like, 42 is fucking young. When I was like, I must have been 8 or 9, and she was a nurse, and I went to for a well visit. And the nurse gave me, you know, one of those paper gowns, and I took my clothes off. I was looking for my mom because she worked at the hospital. And I walked outside, you know, the examination room, and I wasn't really dressed. Maybe I was like in my underwear. And I just remember it so vividly. The nurse came out and she saw me. And she was like, get back in there. You don't have any clothes on. You should be ashamed of yourself. And as she's saying that to me, I see my mother behind her, like just turned the corner, so she just caught the nurse. My mom led into that woman, like, don't ever shame my child for her body. I never will forget that, you know. She would do things like, bing, mommy, bing, baila conmigo. And I'd be like, oh, mom, no, stop. She'd like, don't ever be ashamed of your body. Don't ever be ashamed of it.
Why in your body is it a good place to be?
My biggest obstacle would be my self-esteem, you know, and it often manifests in my appearance, you know. So, you know, if it isn't my body, it's my face, because I've got these things, and it's like gravity is manifesting in my face and in my ass, and it's like that's what happens when you don't die, you know. And like, I'm so not ready to die. I'm just glad I can walk, I can see, I can still, you know, use my fingers. That's huge. Like going upstairs. I mean, that's huge. Being able to like not like pee and shit yourself. I mean, dignity, human body dignity. Just to be okay with what is, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm very lucky.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Amazing. So how do you feel now?
I feel great. I'm chilly.
Amazing.
Was it good? Are we done?
It was incredible. It was just so great. It was so great. It was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take